For the first time ever, the World Cup final is about to look a lot less like soccer and a lot more like the Super Bowl. 3 global superstars. A Grammy-winning conductor. Cookie Monster. All on the same stage at the same time in front of one of the largest television audiences in sports history. And the man who put it all together isn't a FIFA executive. He's the frontman of Coldplay. On Sunday, July 19th, Spain and Argentina met at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey with kickoff set for 3 p.m. Eastern. But for the first time in the tournament's history, this World Cup final wasn't just about the 90 minutes on the pitch. FIFA decided to do something it had never done before. Built a full-scale halftime spectacle, borrowing directly from the playbook that turned the Super Bowl into as much of a music event as a football game. And once the lineup started coming into focus, it became clear this wasn't going to be a small gesture. This was a full production, with co-headliners, surprise guests, and a message behind it that went far beyond entertainment. Let's start with the basics, because this year's halftime broke from tradition before a single performer even stepped on stage. A standard World Cup match runs 2 45-minute halves with a 15-minute halftime break in between. That's it. That's how it's always worked. But this year's tournament already introduced mandatory hydration breaks during each half, and for the final, FIFA went a step further. Typical 15-minute halftime was expanded all the way to 30 minutes, specifically to make room for a full entertainment stage to be set up and broken down. Kickoff was locked in for 3 p.m. Eastern, which meant the halftime show itself was expected to begin its setup around 3:45 p.m., though the exact timing depended on how much stoppage time was added to the first half. So why did FIFA suddenly decide the World Cup needed its own version of Super Bowl entertainment? The answer starts back in May when the whole thing was first announced. Coldplay's Chris Martin was named the curator of the show, a decision that immediately signaled this wasn't going to be a throwaway musical interlude. And when Martin revealed the initial lineup, it became obvious this halftime show was aiming for something much bigger than a single performance. The first names out of the gate were Shakira, Madonna, and BTS, 3 headliners spanning 3 completely different eras and audiences of global pop music. Alongside them came a surprise that had nothing to do with music charts at all. Sesame Street's Cookie Monster and Elmo, along with the Muppets' Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, were confirmed as part of the announcement, tying in decades of American cultural nostalgia with the biggest stage in world soccer. That alone would have been enough to make headlines. But the lineup kept growing. In the weeks leading up to the final, more names were added. Burna Boy joined the bill, along with Uganda's viral dance group triplets Ghetto, who were brought on specifically to perform alongside Shakira's viral World Cup anthem, Die Die. Justin Bieber was also added to the performance schedule, giving the show yet another layer of crossover appeal between pop, Latin, Afrobeats, and K-pop audiences. And then came a detail that grounded the entire spectacle in something more personal. PS22 Chorus, a well-known New York area school choir, was set to perform, giving the show a local hometown touch inside a stadium sitting just outside New York City. Joining them was Gustavo Dudamel, the acclaimed Venezuelan conductor and music and artistic director of the New York Philharmonic, adding a level of classical prestige to a lineup otherwise built around pop superstars and puppets. Here's where the story becomes about more than just star power. This entire production wasn't just built for spectacle. It was built in collaboration with Global Citizen, in direct support of FIFA's Global Citizen Fund. The stated goal behind the partnership is to raise $100 million to expand access to quality education and football opportunities for children around the world. In other words, every performer walking onto that stage, from Madonna to Cookie Monster, was part of a show designed to funnel attention and funding toward a cause far bigger than the final score. So how long did fans actually get to see? Despite the halftime period being expanded to a full 30 minutes, the performance itself was expected to run closer to 11 minutes. The rest of that window, somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes total, was allocated to stage setup, breakdown, and brief time for teams to warm up substitutes if needed. It's a structure that mirrors exactly how the NFL handles its own Super Bowl halftime logistics, just adapted for a soccer pitch instead of a football field. As for how fans could actually watch it, the answer was straightforward. The World Cup final aired on Fox in English and Telemundo in Spanish, with streaming available through Fubo. Kickoff remained locked at 3 p.m. Eastern from MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, with Spain listed at plus 125 odds, Argentina at plus 254, and a draw at plus 200 heading into the match. What makes this moment matter isn't just the size of the names involved. It's what this shift represents. FIFA has spent decades treating the World Cup final as a self-contained sporting event, letting the soccer speak entirely for itself. This year, for the first time, the organization borrowed directly from American sports culture, specifically the model the NFL perfected with the Super Bowl, where the halftime show has become nearly as anticipated as the game itself. And by pairing that model with a fundraising mission through Global Citizen, FIFA didn't just import entertainment. It tried to import purpose along with it. Whether or not the soccer world fully embraces this new tradition remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. The 2026 World Cup final didn't just crown a champion between Spain and Argentina. It marked the moment FIFA officially stepped into the same entertainment arena as the Super Bowl, complete with global pop icons, a world-renowned conductor, and yes, a handful of beloved puppets, all sharing one stage for one cause in front of one of the biggest live audiences in the history of the sport. Oh, now we want to hear from you. Did FIFA get this right by bringing Super Bowl-style entertainment to the World Cup final, or should the halftime break have stayed simple and stayed focused purely on the soccer? Let us know your take in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more coverage as the story around this historic final continues to unfold.